Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the News Today edition of 19th November. My name is Anuj and I will be taking this session. So let us quickly look at the headlines of today's session. In today's session, we will be covering 5 main news, 7 quick updates and 1 personality in news. In main news, we will be covering first news as that Supreme Court has recalled judgment which has struck down the ex post facto environmental clearance. In the second news, we will be covering about the National Action Plan on Antimicrobial Resistance 2.0 which has been recently launched. In the third main news, we will be covering about the Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana as government has introduced new modalities under PMFBY. In the fourth main news, we will be covering about National Industrial Classification 2025 which has been recently released by MOSPI. In the fifth main news, we will be covering about the multiple digital initiative which has been launched to modernize warehousing and boost PDS transparency. Along with that, we will be covering 7 quick updates. You can have a look at them on your screen. And in personality in news, we will be covering Guru Tegh Bahadur ji. So this is a brief about today's session. Let us begin the today's session. So the first news for today is that the Supreme Court has recalled judgment which has struck down ex post facto environmental clearance. So in this news, we will be covering what is the meaning of environmental clearance, why Supreme Court has recalled the judgment, and about the EIA, Environmental Impact Assessment. It is related to GS paper 3 which talks about sustainable development. So let us begin the discussion of this news. So firstly, let us discuss the context. The context we have briefly discussed. So the Supreme Court has recalled the previous judgment. The judgment was Vanasakti judgment which has previously banned the granting of ex post facto environmental clearance. Okay. Under the Vanasakti judgment, court has struck down a 2017 notification and 2021 office memorandum of center which in effect recognize the grant of ex post facto environmental clearance. So basically, let us understand what is environmental clearance here. Suppose you have to start a project and you need environmental clearance for that. But before taking the environmental clearance, you have started the project. But after starting of that project, you can ask or you can apply for the environmental clearance. That is the meaning of post facto environmental clearance. So before Supreme Court has said in Vanasakti judgment that the granting of ex post facto environmental clearance is not allowed. But now Supreme Court has said that it is allowed in exceptional cases. So we will look at the reasons why Supreme Court has said that. Okay, we will look at those reasons in the next slide. So first of all, the Supreme Court has said the legal precedent was ignored. And Supreme Court has cited 2 judgments. One of them is Dr. Swamy versus Karnataka State Pollution Control Board that held that post facto environmental clearance can be granted in exceptional cases. So Supreme Court has said, so in this judgment there was 2 judges and in Vanasakti judgment as well there was 2 judges. So if they require to change the judgment, there is requirement of more judges than the previous judgment. So basically they said there was legal precedent was ignored in the judgment. Similarly, they cited one more judgment. The name of the judgment is Supreme Court in Alamine Pharmaceutical Limited, which has discouraged the post facto environmental clearance. It has discouraged, not debarred. Vanasakti has debarred. Okay, and regularize existing post facto environmental clearance with direction to pay heavy monetary penalties. So they have said that you can get the environmental clearance later on, but you have to pay the heavy penalties that will go into the benefit of the people. So these are the legal precedent which was ignored. Okay. Also, the Supreme Court has cited that if we barred the ex post environmental clearance, there will be economic losses as well. Supreme Court has given many examples, such as the AIMS project or the AIMS building in Odisha. One greenfield airport in Vijayanagar of Karnataka. Okay, so they have said that around 20,000 crore projects are there which have taken environmental clearance after starting the project. Then if we bar the ex posto environmental clearance, that these projects have to be demolished. It will be a loss for the public exchanger and for the public. And it will also lead to pollution. Whenever you demolish something, there will be a pollution. Have you seen sometimes there is the demolition of buildings? Okay, so have you seen that there is lot of pollution and dust due to the demolition of that building? So they are saying that its economic cost will be very high. Secondly, it will lead to pollution as well. So this is the reasoning for recalling the Vanasakti judgment. Okay. Let us move to the next aspect of this news. So we have already discussed about environmental clearance. Let us discuss about the ex post facto environmental clearance. Okay. So an ex post facto environmental clearance essentially allows a project proponent to continue with its project without obtaining an environmental clearance prior to the project commencement. As I have already told you that you have started the project. Now you want the environmental clearance, then also you can apply for the environmental clearance by paying the fine with the monetary amount. Okay. And environmental impact assessment notification of 2006 clearly require prior environmental clearance before a project can start. Okay, so this is about ex post facto environmental clearance. In the next slide, we will be learning about environment impact assessment. Okay, let us discuss about the environment impact assessment. Okay. So environmental clearance is required in India for projects that can significantly impact the environment. Okay, basically it is for sustainable development. And EIA notification 2006 list over 39 type of activities that need environmental clearance. So basically here comes the question, what is environmental impact assessment? Okay. Basically, it is a process where the negative impact of development can be minimized. Okay. Let us understand it with a graph. Suppose this is time and this is environmental component. Suppose you are not doing any project. So environment will be simple. There will be no loss to the environment. Suppose you are doing a project and you are doing it without environment impact assessment. Then there will be a larger loss to the environment. This is without EIA. So here comes EIA. You can do the project with minimum harm to environment. So this portion is harm to the environment. Okay. Okay, and without EIA, this will be the loss to the environment. So basically, that is the significance of EIA. Okay. In EIA, there is a simple process which is screening, then scoping, then public consultation, okay, and at last there is appraisal committee. Okay. Okay. So draft EIA is prepared after scoping, and the final decision is taken after the appraisal committee. So this is the basic about EIA, and it has categorized project into two, that is category A and category B. Category A is under the central government, and category B categorized under state government. In category B, there are further classification, that is B1 and B2. For B1, there is requirement of EIA. For B2, there is no requirement of EIA. So EIA in itself is very important for your prelims as well as for your mains examination. So this was all about the first news. Let us discuss the PYQ related to this news. So first PYQ, which can be seen on your screen, is from 2025 mains paper. Please read the question. The question is, achieving sustainable growth with emphasis on environmental protection could come into conflict with the poor people need in countries like India. Comment. So please think about this PYQ and frame your answer. Okay, what is the requirement of the question? Okay, you can divide your answer in three parts: intro, body, and conclusion. Okay. If you will think on the lines of PYQ, you will be better prepared for your mains examination. Okay. Next question is from mains 2022. The question is, the most significant achievement of modern law in India is the constitutionalization of environmental problems by Supreme Court. Discuss the statement with the help of relevant case laws. Okay, so please read the question and also write about MC Mehta case, Goda Varman case. Okay, so these are the some type of cases where Supreme Court has helped in constitutionalization of environmental problems by Supreme Court. So you can cite such examples to make your answer specific and relevant to the question. Okay. So this is all about the first news. Let us move to the second news for today. The second news is that the National Action Plan on Antimicrobial Resistance 2.0 has been launched. In this news, we will be learning about antimicrobial resistance and what are the key aspects in National Action Plan. It is very important and it is mentioned in GS paper 2, which talks about issues related to health. So let us move to the discussion of this news. So first of all, let us discuss the context. So basically, the Union Minister has launched the second version of National Action Plan on Antimicrobial Resistance. That is for 2025 to 2029, for 5 years. Okay, and AMR occur when microorganisms such as bacteria, virus, fungi, and parasite evolve mechanism to resist the drug designed to kill them. Okay. Basically, let us learn about the microbials. What are microbials? Microbials are basically pathogens such as fungi, parasite, virus, and bacteria. all the microorganisms are not harmful. You might have taken curd, which is probiotic. What does it contain? It contains good bacteria which help you in digestion. Whenever you are visiting dairy, might be asking for probiotic curd. Why you are asking that probiotic curd? Because it had bacteria which helps you in digestion. But then what is antimicrobial resistance? Okay, so antimicrobial resistance occurs when microorganisms such as bacteria, viruses, fungi and parasites evolve mechanism to resist the drug designed to kill them. So basically they are mutating and evolving so that they can resist or can tackle the drugs which are designed for them. Okay, let us learn a very interesting story. Suppose you go for a vacation. Then you found a miracle which can treat these diseases. So that happened in the case of discovery of penicillin. Okay. So basically, Alexander Fleming went for vacation in 1928, and he has left his petri dish in the open. When he came back, he has noticed that the petri dish, I think you know what is petri dish. When you have done the experiment in your physics or chemistry or in biology labs. So petri dishes are transparent circular plates which are there for experimentation. So he has noticed there was a mold on that petri dish which was not able or which was not allowing bacteria to develop on them. So when he has noticed that, he has discovered that it was because of penicillin. That was the first discovery regarding the treatment of microorganisms. Okay, so let us move to the impact of AMR. What are its impact and why we are talking about it? First of all, it lead to global health threat as it is associated with around 4.95 million deaths a year globally, and 1.27 million deaths are directly attributed. Second impact, it lead to higher healthcare burden because the treatment which are available will become ineffective and there will be the rise of cost for treatment. Third, it also hamper the growth and economy of a country as AMR weakens the productivity and increases the financial loss. Suppose I am ill for many days, which could have been treated in 2 days, but because of AMR, I have become ill for 10 days. So my productivity will be low for 10 days. That will impact the growth and economy of a country. Okay. Fourth, it lead to delay in treatment. It is related to second point only. As resistance to the antimicrobial medicine causes delay in effective treatment. There are other impacts as well, such as it impacts the food production because it impacts the livestock as well. It threat to the medical procedure as well and reversal of medical progress. So there are chances that whatever the medical process which we have received can be reversed. Okay, so these are the impact of antimicrobial resistance. Now let us look into the National Action Plan for Antimicrobial Resistance 2.0. So it's built upon the gaps identified in the first National Action Plan, which was there from 2017 to 2021. And it is aligned with the Global Action Plan on AMR by the WHO. It focuses on the One Health. Okay. What is the meaning of One Health? So basically One Health means that the health of environment, human as well as the animals are interconnected. Okay. Suppose I draw a diagram. This is the animal health. This is human health. This is the environmental health. So according to One Health, which is here, the health of human, health of animals, and the health of environment is interconnected. Okay, that is the concept of One Health. Okay. Secondly, it include specific action plan for each key stakeholders, ministry, department with timelines and budget. So there are specific timeline as well as the budget for key stakeholders. Okay. Lastly, let us discuss about the key strategies which are there in this plan. So first of all, it increases the ownership of AMR related efforts. That means there will be increase in the accountability. Secondly, it enhances laboratory capacity and infection control in healthcare facilities. That is a self-explanatory statement. Thirdly, it ensures stronger engagement with the private sector. So there will be involvement of the private sector in controlling the antimicrobial resistance according to this plan. So this was all about this news. Let us discuss the PYQ related to this news. Please read this PYQ very carefully because you have to solve this. Prelims PYQ, not the main PYQ. So it is from 2019. Okay. And the question is, which of the followings are the reason for occurrence of multi-drugs resistant in microbial pathogen in India? And the option A, genetic predisposition of some people, taking incorrect doses of antibiotic to cure diseases. Third, using antibiotics in livestock farming. Fourth, multiple chronic disease in some people. So these are the four options. You have to select the correct option from them. So the option are A 1 and 2, B 2 and 3, C 1, 3 and 4, and D 2, 3 and 4. Okay. Please write down the correct answer in the comment section. Then there is a PYQ from mains. You might have observed this phenomena in day-to-day life. So there is a question in mains. Can overuse and free availability of antibiotics without doctor's prescription be contributed to the emergence of drug-resistant diseases in India? What are the available mechanisms for monitoring and control? Critically discuss the various issues involved. Okay, so this is the mains PYQ from 2014. So please frame a answer based on the question given. So this was all about the news related to AMR. Now, so the next news is about the government has introduced new modalities under Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana to strengthen the farmers' protection. In this news, we will be covering about those new modalities and about the Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. It is related to GS paper 3, which talks about issues related to direct and indirect farm subsidies. Let us begin with the discussion of this news. It is very important because government is asking about the scheme in the news. So context is that government has released revised framework for Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana, which will be rolled out in Kharif 2026. We will be learning about Kharif and Rabi in the upcoming slides. Let us first understand what are the key changes which have been introduced under Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. The first key change is new coverage has been added. That is, crop loss due to wild animal attack is included as the fifth add-on cover under localized list. So basically, the crop loss due to wild animals will be covered. Basic wild animal which destroy the crops are elephant. I think All of you might know about elephant, monkeys, nilgai, etc. So these are the basic wild animal which destroy the crop. Secondly, it has reintroduced the protection, which was paddy inundation restored as a localized calamity cover. It was there when the scheme was launched in 2016, but it was later removed in 2018 because it was found that it was very difficult to check whether the paddy was under the flood or there was the large water. So that's why that was removed in 2018. Okay. Second last, state level identification. So what is there under this? State will notify the list of wild animals and vulnerable districts based on the historical data. So basically state will identify that what are the wild animals which are destroying the crops and what are the districts or which districts are getting the most affected by the wild animal attack. So it is the responsibility of state government. Okay. Lastly, there is a requirement of mandatory reporting. So farmer must report losses within 72 hours with a platform by digital means. So it is must that they have to report within 72 hours. These are the few changes which are done in the Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. Now let us understand about the Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. First of all, it was launched in 2016. So next year, when you will be writing your prelims and main examination, this scheme will complete 10 years. So whenever there is completion of 10 years, 5 years, that scheme become very important for your examination. Okay. So it was launched in 2016 by the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare. Its type, it is a central sector scheme. Okay. If you search for this information, on many pages it is also given as centrally sponsored scheme. Okay. But I can assure you, if there is a question in the prelims examination or mains examination, UPSC will consider it as central sector scheme. And why I am that sure? Because in the last budget, the central government has categorized it as central sector scheme. So don't get confused. It is a central sector scheme. On many websites, including the website of state government, it is given as centrally sponsored scheme. But I am assuring you that if there is a question regarding this in prelims examination, UPSC will consider the budget allocation and the categorization in the central budget. And in the central budget, it is given as the central sector scheme. Please in the comment section write about the central sector scheme and the central sponsored scheme. What is the basic difference between central sector scheme and central sponsored scheme? Okay, so this was about the type. Now its aims and objective. So it provide financial support to farmers suffering crop loss, damage, stabilizing their income and ensuring flow of credit to agriculture sector. Secondly, it will help in adoption of innovative and modern agriculture practices and crop diversification. Basically, in India, there is lack of crop diversification or monoculture of cropping because of many reasons. One of them is MSP. Okay. It will allow crop diversification. Lastly, eligibility. So, eligibility under it include farmers, including the sharecropper and tenant farmers. It is very important. It also include sharecropper and tenant farmers, okay, which are growing notified crop in the notified areas. So this is the eligibility criteria under Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. Please read about its achievements as well. If there is a question in mains examination, you will have to write about the achievements of Fasal Bima Yojana as well. So this was a basic about the Fasal Bima Yojana. Let us discuss about the premium paid under this. So basically for Kharif crop, the premium paid is 2%. For Rabi crop, it is 1.5%. And for commercial and horticulture crop, it is 5%. So what is Kharif crop? The crop which are grown in monsoon. Rabi crop which are grown in winter season. Please write down in the comment section what is the name of the crop which are grown in summer season. So we have monsoon crop known as Kharif crop. We have winter crops known as Rabi crop. Please write down in the comment section what we call as the crop which we grow in the summer season. Okay. And for commercial and horticulture, as I have already told you, it is 5%. So the remaining premium will be paid by the central and the state government. Okay. Now, what are the comprehensive crop risk coverage under the Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana? It provides coverage from pre-sowing to the post-harvest losses. This is very important. It provides from pre-sowing to the post-harvest loss coverage. Okay. In pre-sowing, coverage due to deficit rainfall or adverse seasonal condition. Then also this scheme will cover the losses. Suppose I am a farmer and I want to grow some crop, rice, and I have put the seed in the ground and there is no rainfall. There will be loss in the productivity. So such type of loss will be covered. Secondly, standing crop protection. It provides yield losses from the drought, dry spell, flood and inundation when the crop is standing. Lastly, it also provides post-harvest losses coverage that limited to 2 weeks, that means 14 days after harvest for field dried crop protection against the hailstorm, cyclone and unseasonal rains. Okay, localized calamities protection is also there, that is losses from hailstorm, landslide and other identified local risk which are identified by the state government. Okay. Lastly, it also provides protection on the wildlife damage coverage. Okay. The state may offer coverage against losses due to wild animals attack in high risk areas. So this is the basic coverage and there are some exclusion as well. And the example of exclusions are war risk. Suppose there is war and there is damage, then this project or this scheme does not cover that. Then nuclear risk. Okay, suppose there is a nuclear disaster, then this scheme will not cover that. Other preventable risk. So other preventable risk means the risk which could have been prevented. And lastly, malicious damage. So this is the basic about the risk exclusion. Okay, so this was all about this news. Let us discuss a PYQ related to this news. So PYQ is from 2016. And the question is, with reference to Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana, consider the following statement. Under this scheme, farmers will have to pay a uniform premium of 2% for any crop they cultivate in any season of the year. So we have discussed about this in the news. The premium payable is from 1.5% to 5%. So it is not uniform. That means the first statement is wrong. So option A is eliminated and option C is eliminated. The second statement is, this scheme cover post-harvest losses arising out of cyclone and unseasonal rains. That also we have covered in the discussion. That is a correct statement. Then answer will be B, 2 only. Whenever you are reading a topic, please have a look on PYQ so that you will be having better understanding about how questions are coming in UPSC examination and what methods you can use to solve those questions. This was all about this news. Let us move to the next news. So next news is about MOSPI released the National Industrial Classification after 17 years. So basically we will be covering about this classification under this and what is the significance of this classification. It is related to GS paper 3 where syllabus talks about changes in industrial policy. Let us move to the discussion of this news. So first of all, let us discuss the context. We have briefly discussed the context. Again, NIC 2025 update the previous NIC of 2008. As I have already told you, this updation is after 17 years. So a lot has changed in last 17 years. There is introduction of blockchain technology, there is introduction of artificial intelligence. That's why this reclassification was necessary. This classification of industries was first started in 1962. Okay. It is prepared by MOSPI in alignment with the International Standard Industrial Classification of All Economic Activities Revision 5, which is developed by United Nations Statistics Division. And what is its importance? Its importance is it is fundamental tool for statistics, survey, census, economic research and policy formulation. There are talks about the role of data in the governance and why data becomes so important in governance. First of all, data is required for enhanced decision making. Okay. If you have data, you can form the policy in a much better way. Secondly, you can monitor the policy. Is it successful? It requires changes. Thirdly, you can analyze the trends. Okay, where the improvement is there, where losses are there. So such type of analysis can be there. Fourth, it also improves transparency in governance. Okay, so that are the basic role of data in governance. Now let us discuss about the major changes in the new industrial classification. First of all, structural changes. Moves from 5-digit coding to a 6-digit coding system. So previously in 2008 there was 5-digit coding. Let us take an example. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there was 5-digit coding previously. Now there is 6-digit coding. It will help in better classification as well as improve the overall classification of industries. Secondly, recognition of indigenous sectors such as Ayush based healthcare and the handloom industry. That is the second major change. Third, it also includes sectors like renewable energy, fintech, e-commerce and digital intermediation. So why this was required? Because in 2008, the role of these sectors were very low. That's why the requirement of classification sectors like fintech, e-commerce and digital intermediation. Now let us look at the silent features of NIC 2025. First of all, it has enhanced classification of intermediation services in sectors like power and other sector. That means the intermediary service where the consumer is connected with the producer. So This classification has enhanced classification of intermediary services. Secondly, it has increased the representation of digital economy. That was required because there is lot of changes in the economy. We are moving towards the digital economy. It has increased the representation of digital economy that include cloud infrastructure, blockchain, platform-based services such as Zepto and other services, Uber, and web search portal are distinctly classified. I have already told you why they have been distinctly classified because of rise in the digital economy. Third, there is integration of environmental and green economy. Now they have expanded activities related to carbon capture and waste management. Lastly, the classification is technology agnostic. That means the classification is not done based on that some industry is technology based industry or a traditional industry. That is the meaning of classification is technology agnostic. Okay. That are the silent features of the NIC 2025. This was all about the fourth news. Let us move to the fifth news for today. So the fifth news for today is that multiple digital initiative has been launched to modernize the warehousing and boost the PDS transparency, public distribution services. In this news, we will be learning about these digital initiative and about the public distribution services. It is related to GS paper 3 where the syllabus talks about the public distribution system. Let us move to the discussion of this news. So before discussing about the various initiatives, let us discuss about the public distribution system. How many of you know about the public distribution system? Because it is very important. It is directly mentioned in your syllabus. So in public distribution, both central government and the state government are involved. And it is under NFSA Act of 2013. That is National Food Security Act of 2013, which provide food security as a legal entitlement. Such wordings are very important for writing your answers. NFSA Act of 2013 provide food security as the legal entitlement. Now coming back to the public distribution system. So the central role is that it procure food grain, it store them, and it transport to the state warehouse. That is the basic function of central government in PDS. Now comes the state government. So what is the role of state government? They identify the eligible beneficiaries. They also transport it from the storage to the fair ration shops where the beneficiaries take the food grains. So this is all about the PDS system. Now let us look into the various initiatives that have been launched and what are their benefits. First, Bhandaran 360. It is introduced by Central Warehousing Corporation and it is a cloud-based ERP platform which integrate HR, finance, warehouse management and contract monitoring. And what is the requirement of this? First of all, it will provide real-time monitoring of warehouse operation. That will increase the efficiency in the warehouse operation. Secondly, there is launch of Smart EXIM warehouse system. It has been introduced by Central Warehousing Commission. And for what it has been introduced? For container freight station, and general warehouse. And it uses technology like artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, FASTag, and GNSS to automate key processes. So basically, it will automate the processes in the warehouse by various technologies like AI, IoT, and FASTag. Thirdly, they have launched the Anna Darban. It is introduced by FCI. And what it will do? It is a microservice based platform that replaces the existing depot online system. So basically, it will integrate procurement, storage, movement, sale, labor, contact management, enabling real-time dashboard and faster decision making across the food supply chain. So basically, there will be better monitoring of the storage. Lastly, they have also launched the ASA platform. Okay, and it is launched by Department of Food and Public Distribution, and it stands for Ansahita Holistic AI Solution. As the name suggests, it will use the AI. And for what it is there? It is there for AI based platform that will allow beneficiary to share their feedback on the ration distribution. So basically these are the 4 new initiatives which has been launched recently. Now let us move to the next part of the discussion. So the significance of these initiatives. Okay. First of all, it will support government mission to reduce logistic cost. So basically in India the logistic cost is still high. It is around 13 to 14%. Government wants to bring it under the 10%. So it will help in reducing the logistic cost. It will minimize the turnaround time and strengthen the supply chain efficiency. It will strengthen the supply chain efficiency of the subsidized food grains. Okay. Secondly, it will promote integrated logistic ecosystem under the PM Gati Sakti. And what is PM Gati Sakti for? So PM Gati Sakti is basically for boosting infrastructure project in India. And it also aims for reducing the logistic cost in India. That's why it will promote integrated logistic system under the PM Gati Sakti scheme. Lastly, it will ensure accurate, faster, dignified delivery of subsidized food grains. So as the process is technologically enabled, it will leads to better accuracy, faster and dignified delivery of subsidized food grain. So this is the all about the fifth main news. Let us discuss one PYQ related to this. So the PYQ is from both prelims as well as the mains. So prelims PYQ is from 2018. Okay, you have to solve this question with reference to the provision under the National Food Security Act of 2013. Consider the following statement. First, the families coming under the category of below poverty line only are eligible to receive subsidized food grains. Second, the eldest woman in the household of age 18 or above shall be the head of the household for the purpose of issuance of a ration card. Third, pregnant women and lactating mothers are entitled to take home ration of 1600 calories per day during the pregnancy and for the 6 months thereafter. Please go through the National Food Security Act and solve this PYQ. Believe me, it will help you to improve your preparation for prelims. As the prelims notification will come, I think in January. We are there in November. So you have to practice PYQ. So go through this. You will also learn about extreme statement in this, which is the word only. You will learn all this to try to solve this PYQ. The option are A, 1 and 2 only. B 2 only, C 1 and 3 only, D 3 only. Please write down the answer in the comment section. There is one PYQ from the mains as well of 2015. I think this is visible. Okay, the question is, in what way could replacement of price subsidy with direct benefit transfer DBT changes the scenario of subsidies in India? Discuss. Okay, so basically this question is about direct benefit transfer and how it has enabled or changed the scenario of subsidies in India. This is not directly related to discussion, but please think about this question because government is still focusing on DBT and try to frame a framework for your answer. So this is all about the main news for today. Let us discuss the personality in news for today is Guru Tegh Bahadur ji. And what is the context? The context is that the Maharashtra's Sikh community to mark the 350th martyrdom anniversary of Guru Tegh Bahadur ji with year-long events. So in this news, we will be learning about Guru Tegh Bahadur ji. So he was born in Amritsar, Punjab, and he was executed or beheaded in Delhi, Chandni Chowk. Okay. And he was the youngest child of Guru Har Gobind ji. And Guru Har Gobind ji was the 6th Sikh Guru. And Guru Tegh Bahadur ji was the 9th Sikh Guru. Now let us learn about the key contribution by Guru Tegh Bahadur ji. First key contribution is that he founded the town of Chak Nanki in Punjab, which later enlarged into the city of Sri Anandpur Sahib. So he founded this town. Okay. Secondly, he was crowned with the rare honor of Hindi Chadar. Okay. That is the second contribution. Third, he propagated the message of universal brotherhood and religious freedom. That was the one of reason why he was beheaded in Delhi. Okay. He fought against superstition, caste-based discrimination and untouchability. Okay. And his hymns are featured in Guru Granth Sahib that stresses equality, peace and courage. These are the key contribution of Guru Tegh Bahadur ji. Whenever there is an anniversary or some important event like 350th martyrdom anniversary, there are chances that there can be question about that personality. And here the personality is Guru Tegh Bahadur ji. Now we will move to the quick updates for today. So the first quick update is about base effect. Okay. We will be covering quick updates more quickly. Okay. So the context here is that as per some economists, inflation rate in India has fallen low due to various reasons including a highly favorable base effect. So let us understand it with an example. Suppose you start your preparation and you compare your preparation to a day where you have not studied much. So in comparison to that day, you are reading more. But in reality, you are not reading that much that is required for clearing the examination. So that is the basic meaning of base effect. Okay. And its definition is that the base effect refers to the impact of the reference point when you have started your preparation, used to comparison on the outcome of the ratio or percentage based indicators. So that is the basic definition of the base effect. Okay, it can distort trend if the base period has abnormally high or low values. Suppose you are comparing yourself to that day on which you have studied for 14 hours. Then you will be demotivated that I am not able to match that energy. So there are the lacunas of the base effect. Okay, and it is used to calculate inflation data, GDP growth rates, and other factors as well. Now let us move to the second quick update. The second quick update is about the climate change performance index. And the context is that it was recently released, which compare the climate performance of 63 countries and the EU, which together account for the 90% of global greenhouse gas emission. Okay, so here the question can come about the who releases this index, and you can use the points of this index in your mains answers. Okay, so it is published by the German Watch and New Climate Institution and Climate Action Networks. So these institutions or NGOs release this index and its ranking. None of the countries are there in top 3. It is an important point that none of the countries are there in top 3. And topmost country is at the 4th place, that is Denmark, followed by UK and Morocco. And what does this index measure? So basically it measure the climate mitigation performance in 4 categories of global house gas emission, renewable energy, energy use, and climate policy. So here the question is, what is mitigation and how it is different from adaptation? So basically, when you try to solve the cause of a problem, basic cause of the problem, here the climate change, then it comes under the mitigation. And if you try to adopt to those changes, it is come under the adaptation. That is the basic meaning of adaptation and mitigation. You should be very clear about the meaning of adaptation and mitigation. Now coming to the finding related to India. India ranked 23rd, going from a high performance to a medium one in this year's CCPI. And there is no national coal exit timeline, and new coal block continues to be auctioned. Okay, so we are still dependent on coal based power. Okay, so these are the major finding of climate change performance index. Now moving to the next quick update. The next quick update is about boat mitigation system. And the context here is that a technical outrage at Cloudflare triggered by the latent bug in its boat management system led to significant global service disruption affecting various platforms such as X and ChatGPT. Okay, you might have noticed that ChatGPT was not working properly last night. Now learning about boat mitigation system. Before learning about boat mitigation system, let us learn about what is a boat. So boat are automated program which are there to help in simple program like indexing. But sometimes they are also used to steal data, spread spams, or trigger distribution denial of services. That means you are trying to avail a service from internet, but they will continuously deny you that service. So that is basic definition of bot. Now coming to the bot mitigation. So bot mitigation is the task of blocking bad bots or botnet activity from accessing website. When we were learning about the bot, we have learned that there are 2 types of bot. One is favorable bot or useful bot, and others are bad bots. So in bot mitigation system, it is the task of blocking bad bots or botnet activity from accessing website, server, or IT ecosystem. Okay, and technique used for bot mitigation are relies on behavior pattern, IP check, CAPTCHA. Many times while you are availing services on internet, you have to enter CAPTCHA. And other technique is machine learning tools. So this was all about bot mitigation system. Let us move to the next quick update. So the next quick update is Trade Intelligence and Analytic Portal. And what is the context? The context is that the Union Minister of Commerce and Industries has inaugurated Trade Intelligence and Analytic Portal. And what this portal will do? Okay. The objective of this portal is to deliver transparent, accessible trade intelligence that support businesses and strengthen evidence-based policy making. When we were discussing about data, we also talked about evidence-based policy making. Okay. Let us discuss about the key features. The first key feature is FTA utilization. That means free trade agreements should be utilized so that they are favorable for India. Okay, so we have to utilize free trade agreements in a better way. Secondly, they will identify the countries and commodity intelligence tool which will help the identify focus product for each market. So they basically will analyze for what country, what product is more suitable, and we can increase our export. Third, it will increase the efficiency as it will replace old fragmented portal. That means the previous portals are in a fragmented way, and it has unified. The trade intelligence and analytical portal has unified the various portal that will increase in efficiency. Okay. Lastly, it talks about empowerment. That's why, because it helps small and remote businesses access the clear market insight. That means for small and remote businesses also will get the market insight so that they can plan in a better way. Okay, so this was about the quick update. This quick update. Now let us move to the next quick update. So the next quick update is about the National Water Awards. And what is the context? The context here is that in the category of best state, Maharashtra has been ranked first, followed by Gujarat and Haryana under the 6th National Water Awards. So this award is presented in 10 categories. In one of them, that is the best state, this award has been presented, in which Maharashtra has been ranked first. The other category include best district, best village panchayat, best urban local body, best school of college, best industry, and etc. So these are the 10 categories on which this award is presented. Okay, and it is instituted by the Department of Water Resource, River Development and Ganga Rejuvenation under Ministry of Jal Shakti. This can be a question in prelims, under which institution or by which ministry these awards are instituted. Okay. It aims to create awareness among people about importance of water and motivate them to adopt the best water usage practices. So this is the aim of these awards. Okay, this was about this quick update. Let us move to the next quick update. So the next quick update is about Codex Alimentarius Commission. And why this is in news? It is in the news because India has been re-elected to the Codex Executive Committee for Asia region at the 48th Codex Alimentarius Commission. Okay, so this is the context. In this news, we will be learning about Codex Alimentarius Commission. Let us first learn about its genesis. Okay, it's an intergovernmental body established jointly by Farmers and Agricultural Organization and WHO, World Health Organization. So there are two bodies, one is FAO and another one is WHO, and it was established in 1963. And its objective is to protect consumer health and ensuring fair practice in the food trade. So basically it is related to the trade of food. Okay, and to protect the consumer health. It membership is open to the all members nation and association members of FAO and WHO interested in international food standard. So basically there are 189 members presently, including India and one organization, that is European Union. Now let us move to the next quick update. So the last quick update for today is Gaza peace plan. And why this is in news? It is in news because UN Security Council has approved a US backed Gaza peace plan. Okay. And what does Gaza peace plan is all about? It proposed a framework to end the Israel-Hamas conflict through ceasefire, humanitarian relief, governance reform and reconstruction. Okay, so you might have known or heard about the issue of Israel and Hamas conflict. So this Gaza peace plan is a proposed framework to end that conflict. So the Gaza peace plan was primarily brokered by the United States with the help of Qatar and Egypt. For this plan only, Mr. Trump was saying that he should be awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. Later on, he was not awarded with that. And the key features include ceasefire mechanism, hostage prison exchange. Other features include the governance reform in the Palestine, deployment of an international stabilization force. Okay, so there is a temporary border that is called yellow line. Okay, there is also one other border that is blue line. Please write down which bordering countries or which country border the blue line. One is Israel. Please write down in the comment section the other country which is bordered with the Israel along with the blue line. Okay, it is important for your prelims examination, both yellow line as well as the blue line. Okay, so this was all about the today's news discussion. Okay, so for reading further about current affairs, you can visit our digital current affairs and solve the smart quizzes. Please solve the questions which are visible on your screen and write down their answer in the comment section. Okay, all the best and thank you.